That is the best duck for flat ground I've ever seen. Oh my God.
We've been working on this belt drive, taking things apart, and we've just received our kit in the mail from TKI. Check this out. Check out what we got. We've got an assortment of things. All of these, of course, are available through us now because we can sell cool products just like this. It's a good system. A lot of my friends use it, so that's why I'm going to this. And also, I can change up the gearing. There are a multitude of different gearing options. I'm changing my drivers. I'm putting Avid drivers on the front of this. We're going from a 7-tooth to an 8-tooth. I want some more top end out of it when I need it. I think, like I've said in the past, that this machine is way too geared low. Geared way too low is what I'm trying to say. I think it ramps up too fast. Yeah, you know, you can stand it up and you kind of want that when you're playing in the hills, but it's got the turbo on it, so things ramp up a little too quick. There are lots of issues. Hard on belts, 250 miles a belt. Not very good. It's about $1 a mile. So we're gonna change a whole bunch of things up. But I also think it's geared way too low for what we do. You guys playing at 8,000 feet, maybe a different story, right? You're only using, even with a turbo, you're only, I don't know, getting 110, 130 horsepower out of it. But we're running 200, and I don't even know what kind of horsepower we'll be getting out of it after we change up the boost. So it ramps up very fast. I get det codes, and you know, we're still dealing with all that. So we can change the gearing. You know, this is a 64 tooth bottom. This is a 58, got a 28 tooth top. It's also going to help us for our racing, because I want my top end to be about 100 and I think we can get about 108 miles an hour out of this. So it's going to be pretty good for racing, which is going to be awesome. This one's a 32 tooth gear. And the whole beauty of this whole thing is that we can change them out really quickly. I just got to sort of poke in around, pull off my turbo exhaust can. I can swap out the belts. Actually, the belts are the same length, but I can swap out the gears very quickly. There's a really nice little idler and tensioner on here. And of course, you know, you get all the instructions from TKI. The guy's a great lad, Tom. Very easy to do, very easy to assemble. Just set your emergency brake. Bam. And we're going to be actually swapping out these drivers too. So I'm going to leave this off until we get the drivers changed out. Oh, I love this ratchet. Don't you just love when they just click over every time you move it? Lovely bunch of coconuts. You know what? I'm going to also pull the drive axle out. Skid's coming out, putting all new bearings in that, and new drive axle bearings. I'm not going to mess with my cross shaft yet, or my jack shaft. They should still be fine. But everything else underneath there has been taking a bit of abuse. There we go. Bing bang. So this is the stock belt and gearing. Everything looks pretty good. Pretty lightweight, actually. I don't know what that is this side out. It doesn't say how many tooth it is. Nonetheless, I think what we have from them is still stock gearing, and then I've got the gearing for the higher top end as well. We've got two bulkhead bolts to get out of here. These are Torx. What size is that? T40. Torx T40. 4-0. Nope. Just bend that panel out of the way. Bam. All right, one thing we did forget to do, we should have heated up those bolts. They are Starhead or Torx or whatever, and they do strip out really easy. So if I'd heated up the bolts, they would have popped right out of there really easily. Anyway. Sometimes Reading the instructions is important. So they supply these two bolts here, these two cap head bolts, cap head screw bolts, whatever you want to call them. And you just install both these lads right in here. This is your tensioner. The ability to change my gearing. Because I got beat so many times because I run out of top end. I run out of gears. Not that this is going to make me win races, but it's going to make me more competitive. That's for sure. I want to beat those big turbo four-strokers. Show those guys what a little two-stroker can do. Somebody, I use this, I've had this since, well, anyway, a guy posted on one of my videos when I used this, he said, 1973 called, they want their torque wrench back. Yes, I know, it's old, but doggone it, I'm using it, and I've never had an issue with it. 25 foot-pounds is what we're going for. Bam. 1973 called. I was born in '69, boys. I've had this since 1986, when I first started working on my Land Cruisers. Bam. Bam. That's it. That is in place. Now these are just loose because that's your tensioner. Right? There's a bolt that goes up the back side of this. So that's your adjusting tensioner bolt right here. When this turbo is back in place, because we're still making some changes in here, we might have to trim that up. Depending on the type of turbo, you just never know, but it just goes in there. I mean, this is really simple. I really wish Polaris did this, but you know, guys like Tom come up and they see a need for something and then they fix it. That's awesome. We started this video, I'm gonna say last year. Was it last year this time? Or yeah, it was last year. Installing the TKI belt drive because I had the engine out, so we're just sort of jumping ahead finally to get all this stuff done. We've already installed the belt tensioner like we saw. So this really only goes on one way. This little plate goes on the back over the hub. Slip your gear on, keep this off because we got to slip the belt on. All right, so we'll put the bottom gear on. Bam. Always remember to buy 2 belts. When you're putting one of these kits on. Have a spare, it's a good thing. Slip that belt in. Make sure it hasn't skipped a tooth down here. That's where that's supposed to go. And I'm going to just start to slam this tensioner up. Is that brake on? Yeah, make sure your brake is undone so it allows everything to loosen up. That on right there. They supply a new bottom bolt. Use it. Now we're going to put the emergency brake on. The way this thing is set up, it takes us a little longer to do it because we got the turbo exhaust that goes through here. It's a tunnel dump. But on your standard setup, in and out of here in just a few minutes, probably, even as it sits, we could probably have this done in what, 15 minutes, Simon? A gear change, I'm thinking, 10 minutes. On the track pretty darn fast if we needed to. 40, 45. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Yes, it is. There we go. I want to run this till we get about 1/8 of deflection. There. So, you know, as per their instructions, you want to take it and drive it ahead, back it up, come back, recheck your tension, and then, I mean, I'd probably go for another ride anyway and check it. We just have to buckle these up, and she's tight. And that's it. One more here. There. Now we have to put all these pieces away. So that's the install of the TKI belt drive. You can get one from us here at Power Mods, of course, www.powermods.com, or you just PM me or hit me up through my messaging on, what are we on, Instagram, the Facebook, through the YouTube. You can do my messenger on my website, and we can make it happen. Thanks for watching as usual. Keep coming back. This thing's gonna rip soon.